Okay, it's that time of the month once again. This is where I go through all the CDs I bought throughout the month of May. So quite a bit here. I think we have about 33 in total in this one. So of course, if you enjoy this monthly series that I do, please give it a like, subscribe if you are new. Of course, some of these are ones that I bought with my own money, and a good portion of this was actually donated to me. So we'll go through the donated ones first. Let's just jump right into it. So not too long ago, a couple people have donated CDs to me, and of course we'll go through them first. So the first batch we'll go through is one donated from Tom's Hit Parade. So a couple things. So he did give me a couple CDs that I already have, and these are the first three he did send. We have, well, I don't have this particular thing, but a lot of the songs I already have because I have a 5-in-1 collection of America. But still, I'll probably still keep this around. I mean, I have compilations in my collection anyway, so I'll still have this around. But there's that. He also sent me Wham! Make It Big, which again I already have. And then Fine Young Cannibal is another one I already have. And he did send me another one. It was the Traveling Wilburys' debut, but I already used it in order to replace a broken case. So like I said, even if you send me a duplicate, it will find its use here. It will have its use. So there's those out of the way. But now we get to the ones that I have not heard before. So the first one is Judy Collins with this Greatest Hits compilation. Alright, so again, I know of Judy Collins. As far as I know, she's a singer-songwriter, and I know she was dating Stephen Stills for a period of time. But I don't know any song. I wouldn't be able to name a song from her if you asked me. So I was pretty interested to check this out, and for the most part, pretty impressed by this one. I really like her voice. Definitely has that sort of folky, very breezy sort of voice, kind of almost like a Joni Mitchell, but definitely different in a sense. It's not like a carbon copy or anything, but it does have a similar feel, I would say. And the music itself is very pretty. Some nice acoustic guitar playing. There's a lot with strings on here as well. There's a lot of covers on this thing. I guess she did a lot of covers. Which I'm pretty sure she wrote her own songs, I would assume. But I could be wrong. People can let me know in the comments. But yeah, like there's a cover of Turn Turn Turn, which is all right. So early in the spring's pretty good. Her cover of Both Sides Now was pretty nice. Since You've Asked is pretty good. Albatross. Yeah, overall, it's just a very, very nice listens. If you have any recommendations on what album she's best known for, let me know as well. So there's Judy Collins down. Okay, next up. Now, I think I said it wrong when I did that viewer mail video. So the band is Was, not Was, because of course this was produced by Don Was, who is a pretty well-known producer. So I guess this is a band he formed. I'm gonna be honest, wasn't quite feeling this one. There's some decent songs here and there, but for the most part, it's kind of like it kind of borders like generic sort of R&B, kind of pop sort of sound. Not too many songs really stood out, and then there's a few songs where I just flat out was like, I'm not feeling it, because there's times where there's like it's almost like a spoken word type of thing. I couldn't. It's so bizarre. Like I might even play a little snippet of what I'm talking about.
At the Loveless Motel and Restaurant out on Highway 33.
Let me make it clear, that's not the entire album. It's only like about 2 or 3 songs that are like that, but still, those are pretty distracting, I must say. So yeah, not sure about this one. But now let's talk about some pretty good stuff here. So we have Kick Tracy, No Rules. This is their debut album, and they're kind of like a hair metal, glam metal band from the early 90s. And from what I gathered, they're one of the last kind of semi-big bands from this genre. So overall, some solid stuff. Guitar playing is pretty good. Vocals were decent. Again, nothing mind-blowing or anything, but you know, for what it is, it's all right. I like it. I definitely do. I can vibe with it, I guess. And then we also have Baby Animals, Shaved and Dangerous. So this is a female-fronted band. So again, never heard of them, don't know any songs by them, but giving this a listen, it's actually pretty good. I actually kind of liked it. Of course, you have a female singer on here, and I really do dig her voice. And the rest of the band sound pretty nice as well. So yeah, again, I don't have much else to say. It's just some very solid, kind of poppy, kind of like alternative rock. But yeah, pretty good. And then the last one, not Mickey, we'll get to him later, but Tom, the last thing Tom sent was this live album. We have Metallica S&M. So, of course, what's notable about this particular live album is that the band is backed by an orchestra, which is kind of interesting. Overall, pretty cool. It's definitely a different listening experience. So if you want to hear Metallica with an orchestra, this is the way to go. And I will be honest, I don't see myself listening to this one too many times because I do prefer the originals. And I will say there are times the orchestra is a bit distracting where they don't really fit. Probably the big one that comes to mind is the one. And that's kind of when I felt the strings were unnecessary because I think it took away from the dark theme that the song was supposed to portray. But overall, the rest of it was pretty solid. So pretty cool. So those are the ones that Tom sent me. So again, to Tom, thank you so much for sending me these CDs. So now we move on to the ones that Mickey sent, which I already posted that video like literally a couple days ago by the time this video comes out. So the first one he sent was Offspring with their album Smash. And this is probably, from what I can tell, they're probably their most known album, I guess, because it had some big hits on here, like Self-Esteem was a pretty big song on here. And there's probably some other ones too, but again, I'm not an expert on this band. But it's just very solid, pretty nice punk rock from the 90s. So yeah, so vocals pretty good, some nice riffs here and there. But yeah, pretty solid. Again, I will say it's not like it didn't. Again, I don't love it quite yet, but I do dig it. So it's definitely nice to have because I know they're a pretty well-known band. So yeah, very nice to check them out. This could grow on me though. And the CD is kind of a little bit beat up. You can't really see, but there are some scratches on here. But you know, kind of fits the theme, Smash, and it's a punk CD. So again, fitting the overall aesthetic, I would say. I will be honest, there's going to be a couple in this video that I have not gotten the chance to listen to because, again, the first half of May was pretty packed. The second half was not as packed, but still it was pretty hard to get caught up. But I know Mickey sent this one. We have Rick Wakeman Revisited, and I thought this was a live album, but I guess it's not. I think it's just him kind of going back to some old things he worked on and just kind of redoing them, I guess. Yeah, again, I haven't heard this one, but you know, I'm expecting some nice keyboard piano playing on here. So, and you know, there's some songs I recognize, like he does Starship Trooper, which is interesting. There's Painted Black, and then you have Eleanor Rigby. So I'm curious what he would do with those. But anyhow, let's move on. All right, then we have this live album of Ozzy Osbourne. We have Tribute. Of course, this was a tribute to Randy Rhoads, who passed away. So, of course, just wanted to have something to commemorate him for his talent and how short his career was. So it has pretty much all the songs you would expect. Of course, I Don't Know, Crazy Train, Mr. Crowley, and a couple Black Sabbath tracks like Iron Man, Children of the Grave, and Paranoid. But yeah, of course, I mean, there's not much to say about it. It's just what you expect. Just Ozzy and then Randy on the guitar. That's all you wanted. That's all you came for, really. And some great songs to have. So yeah, very nice listen. All right, and next up we have Whitesnake. We have Forevermore. Okay, so this came out in 2011. And I didn't know what to expect. I know Mickey sent me another Whitesnake album. I always get confused. Is it Flesh and Blood or Fresh and Blood? I'm always getting that title confused. But this is their 2011 release, and I was pretty surprised, honestly. Like, it was actually a pretty pleasant listen. Some really good songs on here, like Steal Your Heart Away was a good opening song. Love Will Set You Free was pretty good. I Need You, Shine a Light was another standout track. The title track at the very end was also really good. That was a nice way to close the album. I haven't looked at the DVD because it does come with a DVD. But overall, very nice, very strong album, especially kind of late in their career. So yeah, I dig it. And then the last one we have for Mickey was this one right here. We have Pink Floyd, the Pulse concert. Of course, again, I'm pretty familiar with Pulse because you're always going to see people reacting to footage from this concert. Of course, the big ones are Comfortably Numb and even High Hopes, and maybe Great King in the Sky too. But yeah, again, it's definitely cool to have on CD form because it is I think it's a pretty popular concert. I know when I showed this one, a couple people in the comments talked about seeing it live, and it probably would. I can only assume it was a spectacle to behold, but yeah, so very cool. And I like the packaging too, nice and hard, good. It's even in this big sleeve, and it's even in this book form, which is always cool to get one of these. But yeah, overall, still very awesome to have. And apparently there's a different version where there's lights on it, which sadly this is not it, but still, I'm not complaining too much, but still very cool to have it though. And apparently Mickey's gonna send me another one pretty soon, and he says there's a couple of ones that are really good, so I have high hopes, pun intended. Alright, and now we move on to the last category, and these are the ones that I did buy with my own money. Some of this you've seen before because I made a record store finds video not that long ago as well, but a good chunk of them you have not seen, so lots of surprises here. So the first one we'll go over is this. Again, I bought another one of these like 5-in-1. It's like the original album series collection things. You know, like I said, they usually include 5 albums from a band, usually their most successful period. And I picked up this band. We have The Association. So The Association were a pretty popular 60s band, kind of folky, kind of pop sort of band during this time. So this includes 5 albums, which I'll pull them out and we can go through them. And I will be honest, I didn't get a chance to listen to all of them. I only had time to listen to one of them. So I only listened to this one. This is their debut album. It's called And Then Along Comes the Association. And judging by the first album, I dig it. I quite like it. Definitely has a kind of laid back, very chill, kind of what you expect from music from this time, especially in the mid-60s. Again, you can hear that folk influence, but still has a very commercial twang, a little commercial flair to it. Some nice harmonies, and yeah, overall some solid stuff here. So there's that. Now this thing also includes 5 more. We have their second album, Renaissance. Then we have Inside Out, Birthday, and self-titled album just called The Association. Now the reason why I got this was because, for those who don't know, I'm doing an album exchange series with Jason Neo Millennial, with the Gym, and then we have Townsend 505. We're all getting together. We all get together whenever we can. We just assign an album to one another that we all have to listen to, and we all come back and discuss them, almost like a book club in a sense. And I think Jason recommended this one. It's their second album, which again I haven't heard it yet, but that's definitely going to be the one we're going to be discussing soon. So we'll see how I feel about this one whenever we get a chance to get together. But yeah, so again, very nice to have The Association. Again, they're a band I hear quite a bit. They're pretty liked. So there we go. Let me just quickly put these back and we'll keep moving. So next up, we have the last 2 albums from ABBA. So I pretty much have the whole catalog now, all the studio albums that they put out. These were the only 2 I needed. We have Waterloo, their second album, and then we have ABBA, the album. So we'll start with this one. So yeah, this is a pretty nice album. Waterloo, of course, it's a classic track. Sitting in the Palm Tree, pretty good. Of course, these early 2 albums, the first and the second, is where you have Benny singing a lot more leads. And then as the career goes on, he kind of slows down. He doesn't really sing as much, but it's kind of interesting to hear him more here. King Kong song, it's a stupid song, but I actually kind of like it. It's actually kind of fun. I heard that's actually one of their, not their most liked one, but oh well. Let's see what else. Honey Honey was another song I was familiar with, which is just great. Yeah, overall, pretty good album. Of course, I will say there is no album I don't like. I think every album they put out has a lot of songs that I really like. And of course, this next one, the album, is no exception, because you have big songs like Take a Chance on Me, Name of the Game, Thank You for the Music's really good as well. And some other songs I really enjoyed, like Eagle, One Man, One Woman. Let's see, Hole in Your Soul. Yeah, just another really nice album. I've always said back in the day, if you don't like ABBA, something's wrong, because you have no heart at that point. Like, it's just fun, feel good music. Like, come on, lighten up. But that's just me talking. Next up, here's another one I did not get a chance to listen to. And this one, at least I have an excuse, because this is a double album. So we have Bob Dylan, The Basement Tapes. Again, I hear good things about this one. Again, I've said it before, but of course, a lot of these were recordings that Bob was doing with the band. This was like late 60s, 67, somewhere around that time. And they were just jamming out to songs. And some of these songs would make up some of the songs that would be on the band's debut, Music from Big Pink. But yeah, again, I feel like I would definitely dig this album, because I do like the band quite a bit. And of course, I enjoy Bob Dylan anyway, so put those two together, then you have some good stuff, I would assume. But yeah, hopefully at one point I'll let you know my thoughts on this one. But other than that, we move on to the next one. We have Gene Clark with his first solo album, Gene Clark with the Gosden Brothers. This is a pretty enjoyable album. Not an amazing, I would say, but it's pretty strong. Echoes was a nice opening song. Think I'm Gonna Feel Better. It's pretty good. Keep On Pushing. It's pretty solid. Needing Someone. Yeah, it's just kind of folky. There's a little bit of strings, I think, on here. You have a couple of collaborators like Glenn Campbell on here, Clarence White. Chris Hillman also contributes on here. But overall, it's a pretty enjoyable one. I've definitely impressed with Gene Clark's solo stuff for the most part. That being said, I only have two. I only know this one and no other, but still, I'm pretty open for more Gene Clark. Let me know if there's any more I should check out. So after that, we have three from the same band, and that band is Fleetwood Mac. So I bought their debut album, and if you like blues rock, you're definitely gonna dig this one. I will say I like this a lot more than Mr. Wonderful, that's for sure. Some of you might already know my thoughts on that album, but the debut is pretty solid. I don't hate it. It's just not stuff I would go after very often. The guitar playing is pretty good. Peter Green was pretty nice. Jeremy Spencer, even though I don't like him, I don't really like him that much to begin with. He's not as bad here. He's not as cringe that he would later be. But again, it's just not my preferred version of Fleetwood Mac. I know there are some people who love this era of them and actually prefer this over their more commercial era. But to me, it's just not for me. Okay, moving on, we have this beauty. So of course, some of you might have already seen that short I did not too long ago, but that was fun to make. But yeah, you're probably wondering what the heck this is. Well, this is actually not a full-fledged, well, it kind of is. It's mostly a compilation CD. This was meant for the US audience. So you have a couple of songs that were on Mr. Wonderful, and a few songs from Then Play On. But a couple songs that were not on albums, only released as singles. There's Black Magic Woman and the song Albatross. But yeah, I have not listened to it, nor do I desire to listen to it, because yeah, it's more of that era I'm not crazy about. And again, you have those songs from Mr. Wonderful that I just can't get into. But yeah, overall, I got it. And really the only reason why I got it was, quick story, but I can't remember when, but I did a live stream with, I think it was a hangout. It was me, Nick, and Scott, and we were just talking, and I think it was Scott who sent me the link to this. It was on eBay for like $8, and they pushed me, and I ended up caving. And you know, it's kind of, I'm not too upset I got it, because you know, I can, you know, that short was worth it. So at this point, it's just here for the memes at this point, because just how very eye-catching his album cover is. I mean, look at this beauty, like I said earlier. But yeah, there's that. Now we have this one, another Fleetwood Mac, and I did not listen to this one yet because it literally came in yesterday, but I was busy yesterday, so there's that. But we have their final album. We have Say You Will. So I've heard some mixed opinions on this one. Some people say it's okay, some people just don't like it. I will say I'm definitely going in with this with very low expectations, because for one, there's no Christine McVie on here, and I'm a huge Christine McVie fan, and you take her out of the band and I'm just gonna be feeling like there's something missing the whole time, which, you know, yeah, so there's that. But again, I'll try to keep an open mind about this one, but we'll see. But now we move on. Another one I didn't get a chance to listen to. I now have a good chunk of the Journey catalog. So we have Next. This is their third album, and this is the last of this kind of progressive rock, jazz fusion era. So this was just before Steve Perry would join. And I only had time to listen to the first song, and that was Spaceman, and I was pretty impressed. I kind of liked Spaceman. I think it was a nice song. But the rest of the stuff, I have no idea. So again, pretty open to this one. I do quite enjoy this early period of the band. Some great playing, and you know, Neil Sean gets to really show off more of that great guitar playing. Of course he does some great guitar playing in the Steve Perry era, but still, he's like pretty much all over a lot of these early albums, so that's good to hear. And yet another CD I didn't get a chance to listen to, because again, kind of like Say You Will, this came in yesterday. We have Kinks. We have Sleepwalker. So this is their late, kind of a mid to late period album here. And this is one of those albums I can probably, a good chunk of people probably don't know too much about. The reason why I bought it was, for one, I know my friends Jason and Nick are doing a series of the Kinks, and apparently they really enjoyed this one. So there's that, and also I think it was Nick who suggested this would be part of our album exchange. So yeah, so of course I wanted to get it just to have it. But yeah, so yeah, I'm pretty open to this one. I do dig the Kinks quite a bit. So yeah, I don't know what to expect. But yeah, hopefully I'll like that one. Now we have two from this band. So I've heard this band has been making the airwaves, shall we say, because I've been seeing them a lot. A lot of people on YouTube have been talking about this band. They're a modern band, surprisingly, but again, they've just been, many people are talking about them, and it got me curious. So the band is the Lemon Twigs. Make sure I say it right. And I actually bought two albums from them. I bought their 2023 release. We have Everything Harmony. And then we have their latest album that they came out not too long ago, actually. Came out this year. A Dream Is All We Know. So, after giving this a listen, I was pretty impressed. So, they kind of harken back to a lot of that early, maybe mid to late 60s pop sound. So if you love like the first two Birds albums, or if you like Rubber Soul era Beatles, it pretty much harkens back to that sort of style. And they do it really well. Both of them just have that same, has those like 12-string jangle guitars, some nice pretty melodies throughout, some good harmony too. Yeah, overall, I was pretty impressed by these two albums here. I think I prefer this one just a little bit more personally, but this is still pretty solid too. And I suggested this when we do our eventual album exchange, so that's not gonna be the last time I'll mention that album exchange. There's actually one more that I'm gonna talk about, but overall, pretty impressed by them. I can definitely see the appeal of this one. I might even check out their earlier stuff, because I think I've heard their earlier stuff's a little bit different. That's kind of when they were more indie rock. So, still, pretty cool. And then, speaking of that album exchange, this is the last one, I swear. So this was suggested by Adam from What the Gym. And this is a band I had never heard before, but apparently they're pretty popular in the UK, from what I can gather. So hopefully I'll say this right. We have Lindisfarne. This is the album called Fog on the Tyne. So I have no idea who they are. Again, I think they were popular in the UK, like I said. And from what I gather, they're kind of like a folk rock band. So that's all I can gather. So again, if you're a fan of this band, let me know. I'm pretty open to it, like I've been saying. I might like it, honestly. It definitely seems like something I would enjoy. Now we have Soundgarden, we have Bad Motorfinger. So we have Chris Cornell and company here. Pretty good. I wouldn't say I'm a die-hard Soundgarden fan, because, you know, a lot of these albums are pretty long. And so there's probably some songs I'm going to be missing out, because, again, because it's a long album, it's going to, as it goes on, I'm going to drift off a few times. But from what I recall, again, I only had time to listen to this once, but some good stuff like Rusty Cage. There we go. I'm recording this in the morning this time, so that tells you. Let's see, somewhere pretty good. Some good heavy guitars throughout. Holy Water, New Damage. But yeah, good stuff. Some solid 90s rock at its finest. I know Soundgarden are one of the big bands of that grunge alternative rock scene, so yeah, there's that. Up next we have the Stooges with their debut album. I dig it. I quite liked it. I prefer Raw Power though. I mean, it definitely has that raw feel to it. You know, of course, on Wikipedia they're listed as garage rock, and yeah, I can hear it. You know, the title track, not the title track, but the song 1969 was a nice opening number. I Want to Be Your Dog. Weird title, but that was pretty solid. We Will Fall. It's okay. It's 10 minutes long, which, yeah, I feel like they could shorten that one. And I'm reading it right now. It says it was produced by John Cale, so I think that explains why. Let's see, Real Cool Time was good. Little Doll, solid debut. So the Stooges, again, I wouldn't say I love them, but there are some songs I dig. Now we have this one. Now the funny story about this one. So we have the band called Strawberry Alarm Clock. So they were a psychedelic band of the mid to late 60s. So what's notable about them is that one of the members would go on to co-found Lynyrd Skynyrd, and that's Ed King. And here I bought their debut album, Incense and Peppermints. And I bought this because I did a review on this album on Nick's channel, again, Townsend 505. Maybe I'll leave a link to that review in the description, if I remember. But again, very good stuff. Great psychedelic music, some good jamming moments. Just overall, a pretty cool vibe. I really dug the whole album. But the thing is, this is not actually the album I have right here. This is actually a compilation that I bought because I thought it was the debut, because it's called Incense and Peppermints, but it's not. It's confusing. And the album covers are very similar, but they use the same image. But now I know that this is not the actual album. This is the actual album. So yeah, I had to buy another copy, and this is the original. This is the actual album. It's got the right track listing. You can see the difference between the two covers. Of course, the original has a lot more colors on the outside. This one's just pure white. And this compilation includes some like songs, a couple songs that weren't on this album. Of course, one of the big ones is Birdman of Alcatraz, which I'm actually kind of glad it's not on this album. But anyway, long story short, so I'm kind of going to keep this just because I think the situation was funny. But the album itself, very good stuff. If you like psychedelic music, go check this out. And now we have a few more. We have like 3 more to go. So I'll see if I can do the rest in this one line here. Next up, we have Bryer, Pink Flag. So they're kind of a punk band, and I know a good amount of people enjoy them. Overall, pretty good. I don't love it though. I think the vocals are pretty good. Overall, there was some nice guitar playing, and there's some experimental parts to it. Like they do play around with certain soundscapes. I do have one gripe though. A lot of the songs I feel go by way too quickly. You know, some of the songs go by, you know, they're about a minute. Like I'm looking at the track listing right here. There's one track that's like 30 seconds, and there's one that's less than a minute. You know, minute and a half. You know, there's a couple songs that are over 2 minutes. But yeah, some of the songs just go by so quick. You can't. They don't really sink in. They're kind of over before you really start to really groove with it. I don't know if that was the point, but yeah, there's some good stuff here. I kind of just wish they kind of stretched it a bit more. I don't know. That's my only gripe with it, but for what it is, I enjoy it. Maybe this could be an album maybe it'll grow on me more. But other than that, I did dig it. So it's not a bad album. Not a bad album. All right, we have Yes, The Ladder. So this is a late period album. This came out in 1999, the same year I was born. And I had no idea what to expect. I kind of went in with kind of a little bit low expectations because I've heard mixed opinions on this period of the band. And you know what? I was pleasantly surprised. There's some really good stuff here, some really strong stuff. I really enjoyed the opening song, Homeworld, The Ladder. Nice way to open the album. It Will Be a Good Day, some good melodies on that one. Lightning Strikes, that's a pretty fun track. Face to Face, If Only You Knew. The Messenger, New Language. I'm going to say it. I think this is kind of an underrated album. It's definitely way better than Union, I will say. But yeah, I dug this album. I think it's pretty good. So if you're kind of on the fence of checking out, you know, like the more later Yes period, check this out. Check this out. You might be surprised. Of course, John Anderson's still in the band. Steve Howe is here. Chris Squire, Alan White. Of course, you have 2 other members. You have Billy Sherwood and another keyboardist. You have Igor Koroshev. Probably butchered that name, but regardless, still very good album. I'm shocked, honestly. And we have one more to talk about. We have Neil Young and Crazy Horse, Russ Never Sleeps. I hear great things about this one, and you know what? I can see why. This is kind of an interesting album because a lot of these songs were recorded live, but you don't really notice. I think they kind of mixed this in a way where it almost feels like a studio album. The only giveaway is that at very rare but very short moments you'll hear the crowd kind of come up, but for the most part they're pretty much muted the whole time. So yeah, if you close your eyes and don't think about it, you can definitely think this is just a full-fledged studio album. And of course, a lot of the songs were brand new here, so none of these were on other albums prior. So you have you have My Hey Hey Out of the Blue, great opening song. Thrasher was another really great one. Pocahontas, Powderfinger. Like the first half is mostly acoustic guitar, but then you have the other remaining 4 tracks, which is mostly a more rock edge, a lot more heavier guitars, which is pretty cool. It closes out great with Hey Hey My Into the Black, so you have a nice good bookend there. So yeah, I definitely get why this is often pretty highly regarded for Neil Young. Definitely glad I got this one, so a really good one to end this particular CD haul. And there you have it. That's all the CDs I acquired throughout the month of May. So as always, in the comments below, let me know your thoughts on any of the CDs I've shown, which ones were the highlights for you, and let me know what you picked up this month as well. Until then, I'll see you in the next video. Give this video a like, subscribe, and yeah, like I just said, I'll see you in the next video. Take care, and goodbye for now.